So, unfortunately, still here, still sick, still feeling like trash, but more things weigh on my heart every single day, right? Things that I don't understand, things that just don't make sense to me. God gifts us with children. And I say gifts us because God gives us the ability to have children. And my wife puts this very well. They're on loan to us, right? God entrusts us to raise them, to teach them, to love them, to care for them, and to support them, to be good people, to give them the things that they need, not the things that they want, but the things that they need. And not to say I'm perfect. I have messed up so bad in my life. And I speak from experience. And I come fully acknowledging that I have messed up so bad in the past that it's a whole nother story. But at the same time, I have 4 children that I am actively engaged in their lives every single day. And I have been since I met the 2 oldest and ever since we've had the 2 youngest. I've been actively involved in their lives to mold them, to love them, to comfort them, to help them grow, to help them succeed in the ways that they need to. Whether that's learning words, learning how to write, learning how to go to class, or making friends in school, or making good decisions, or, responsibilities on technologies and stuff like that, and relationships and friends, and, maybe dating if they're old enough. Our age spans from 4 to 13. And that's a challenging span, especially in today's world. But it doesn't matter what we're faced with. We're given very simple things that we need to instill in them, right? We need to teach them to be kind and courteous people to everyone. And we like to teach our children that, especially with kids at school, that you treat everybody with kindness and love because you just don't know what that kid's going through. That other kid that may be a bully or a jerk or having a bad day, maybe it's not that they're that way all the time. But maybe at home they're neglected, not loved, not fed, not clothed, not cared for, abused of some kind of sort. Maybe there's a lot of things that poor child is dealing with. And when they come to school, it's their only safe harbor away from those people. And they have a hard time then. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine a world where the only safe place for me to exist is school. But more and more, I see parents in their lack of parenting calling themselves moms and dads, and they got those mugs that, best dad of the year, doo doo doo, best mom of the year, blah, blah, blah. They got plenty of excuses for all the ways that they failed and never any of the reasons of how they're going to succeed. I have failed, I have succeeded, and I have been in the middle. But I work every single day to make sure I bridge that gap, that when I fail as a parent, maybe I get more upset than I should, or I say something more meanly than I want to say it, or I'm too harsh or too short, or however it may be. I don't necessarily directly apologize to them, like in a begging their forgiveness. I tell them, I'm sorry I got really quick to anger. I should have listened more. I should have heard you out. I should have been a better father. And I should have been there to support you more through it and help you see where you made the bad choice or whatever. We're talking about a million different things, right? From simple white lies like, did you brush your teeth, to dating or being friends and having complications at school, and being no not nosy, but I can't think of the word, but it's going to come to me. Um, Gossiping, not to gossip and talk about other people. Even if you don't mean harm, it can cause harm. You may not mean to say something in a certain way, and it can offend or hurt that person that you're talking about or somebody else involved. But there's so many different things. Me as a child, it was very hands on. Um, and today is not as acceptable. But, at the same time, when I needed to be corrected, I got corrected. And that's how I try to parent. I don't let the moment go by. I don't care who's around, because if you were there seeing why they're in trouble. Why are you upset that I'm parenting them? And if you have something to say about how I parent my children, please come step to me. Explain to me how your child is doing so much more successfully than mine, because 99% of them, the ones that want to be judgmental, nosy, and have an opinion, your kid is jacked, dude. Like, and it's your fault. It's not theirs. It's not the kids' fault. It's the parents' failure. When my kids fail, it is me and my wife's responsibility to fix it. And when they make mistakes, it is our fault they made that mistake because we did not prepare them better or well enough to be equipped to make a better decision. Sometimes that's age and maturity. Sometimes that's parenting. A lot of times nowadays, it's parenting. For me and my wife, that's not always, it's not the all the time. It's the here and there that it comes down to us like, oh yeah, we should have caught that first. Rarely. It's the exception, or however you say that. But with her, with my wife, me and her are on different pages of parenting. We're different styles of parenting, but we're on the same exact page. We're not on different pages. We're the exact same page, but we parent differently. I am very more strict. I am very much more rule oriented. I am very, very consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get in trouble for and how much trouble you're going to get into. And I will do things to benefit you and set you up for success. I won't do things that don't benefit you. Like I will not try to hand my kids an electronic device before they're able to healthily navigate the situations that they may come upon. I don't care their age. I don't care what it comes down to their personal maturity and their choices and how much we can trust that individual. Just because one kid got a cell phone or a device at this age does not mean my other three will get one. Or that this one got one, it got this at this age. It's not that way. Just because you turn a certain birthday doesn't mean you get a certain thing. You have to have the maturity, the responsibility in you to handle those things. I won't allow them to do things that are going to harm themselves. Like I'm not going to allow them to hang around the wrong people. I'm not going to condone them smoking cigarettes, smoking vapes, doing drugs, or any of those things. That's called delinquency of a minor. And if you do those things, that's all you are. Is you're a felony charge waiting to happen, because regardless if you're a parent or not, you do not get the responsibility or the choice to give that kid drugs, alcohol, or nicotine. That's 18 and 21, depending on what the substance is. That's a state law. And if you're doing that thing, you're an exceptional piece of work. And God, He already says it, tie the millstone around your neck and jump in the ocean or the sea or whatever body of water is closest to you before you harm my children. And He's talking about the little ones, the ones that don't know better. For instance, the kids nowadays that some of the parents allow these things like vaping and smoking or whatever it may be, or in Colorado to use weed because weed's legal in Colorado. Yeah, when you hit a certain age. And you know what? You're still not very successful because you can't get a good job, can't get insured, can't get a lot of things. So it's not really a good idea to start your kid out smoking weed before they're even of age, nor can they do anything with their life after they smoke weed. They can't join the military. They can't be anything. They can't go work in the oil fields. They can't be in a trade. They can't be insured. There's so many things that child's being set up for failure. But let's just be more specific about, okay, vaping, something less. If you found out and you're like, oh, it's just vaping. Now I vape, but my kids will never be allowed to vape, and I'm trying to quit vaping. Vaping is harming their lungs so that they're not performing at their best ability. Why not push them into a sport like buying them a set of soccer cleats or football cleats or maybe a baseball glove? Something like that. Something that's going to benefit them, because you don't know if you have the next Nolan Ryan. You don't know if you have the next, Joker. You don't know if you have the next Caleb McCarr or the next Kyle Busch or the next anything. You don't know if your kid is that prodigy or not because they're recreationally using a substance. There's no world where you're going to convince me, except for some small portion of demographics, where things like Charlotte's Web is used with seizures and stuff like that. Not talking about those parents. Not at all. ADD, weed's not actually a treatment for that. By no means is weed a treatment for ADHD. Weed is a treatment for expunging all your worthiness to do anything during the day and to make you hungry. It takes your drive, your motivation, and your want and will to do the right thing, completely expunges it. Why don't you hand them a Bible, hand them a book, hand them a glove, hand them a sport, hand them a band instrument, something that is going to produce for them something more than just an addiction or a problem down the road. Say they want to join the military. They want to join the Air Force because they're exceptionally bright. They score a 123 on their ASVAB. Not even a great student in school, but they scored really high on the ASVAB because the ASVAB is not just about brains as far as the school's concerned. It's all the other skills tied into one, and they test for all of it. Like me, I was a 126 out of 120 being the highest score you had to have to do whatever you wanted to do in the military. I could have been a pilot. I could have been a nuclear engineer. I could have been a bomb expert or whatever I wanted to be. They would have sent me to school to do whatever I wanted. I chose to be an airborne ranger initially and became a U.S. Army sniper. Not a bad gig, but I still had to have a 120 because I couldn't be an idiot doing those things. So this brings me back to, if I would have been at a young age smoking and doing drugs or smoking nicotine and smoking weed, then I would be committing crimes. And when they ask me I'm committing crimes, and most likely I would have a criminal record by then. And if not, I'm going to test positive for these drugs and substances that I'm not supposed to have in my system yet anyways. Let me just tell you, in all 50 states of the United States of America, that is a CPS call away from you having a felony charge, and you deserve it. When that door gets knocked on and somebody finally catches on that you allow your kid to use a substance that they are not of age, a voting electorate decided this is the age, 18, 21, so on, so forth. If they're not that age and they are getting that substance from you, you deserve to be a felon. You're the worst kind. You're a predator of children. You are providing the delinquency of a minor. You are setting them back. And you're a fucking loser. You're no good. You don't want them to succeed. You don't want them to be better than you. And you don't want them to be more than you ever were. And just the fact that they're fucking breathing means that they are better than you. Because you're going to hand them a substance that's going to tear them down, break them down. Not only motivation and drive, but it's going to harm their brain chemical capabilities, right? So why? They're growing. They're not even fully matured. Their brains aren't even matured. And if you're talking about your son, his last brain growth, as far as maturity happens, around like 21. Let that sink in. My last brain growth in maturity was hampered by brain injuries because I was deployed by the time I was 19. How do I know this? A neuropsychologist, a neurologist, a brain surgeon mixed with a psychologist that did so much testing that they figured out what portion of my life was kind of ADHD as a kid, was this as an adult, was this as this part, and this was the brain injury before I matured. So, for instance, you just hand them a whole bunch of drugs and nicotine and bullshit and ruin their lives because you ruin them up here. Not only are you destroying their brain, but you're destroying their soul. You're not even giving them a chance to be successful. Why is that? Ask yourself. Is that because you're too scared to be outdone? I hope all 4 of my children are better than me. I hope all 4 of them live without a record. Because let me tell you something. Me going to prison was the hardest thing to deal with in my life, because ever since then, to get a good job, I have to get in front of the people to talk to them, to explain to them, and to prove to them I am a worthy person. And that, hey, if you take a chance on me, maybe you don't have to pay me as much, but if you take a chance on me, what is it going to hurt? You have all the reasons to fire me, but what if I am good at my job and I can make you money? Win-win for you, right? Yep. And that's why I've been successful. That's why this home that sits around me right now, this is because I had a change of my attitude, changed my outlook on life, and I drove straight at success. And I did not care. I ripped off all the mirrors, the rear view, the side view, and the other side view. And I threw them in the trash, and I might as well have stapled the throttle to the floor, and I held on for dear life because I knew that it was going to take every ounce of me to succeed. And if I wanted to make any type of a man of myself at the age of 33 of getting out of prison, I would have to be different. I couldn't just be a failure. I couldn't blame it on my PTSD from being at war. I couldn't blame it on my childhood no more. I couldn't blame it on anybody else, and I never have, never will. They were all my choices and my decisions. But you know what? My kids know your choices will affect you, and what I teach you will affect you. So you better listen to me really closely, because I'm not going to drive you down the wrong road. My children could listen to me blindly and faithfully, and I can make one promise to them. I will never intentionally hurt them or lead them down the wrong road. They won't even be allowed to live in my house and use those substances, even if they are 18. Because if you are 19 and you want to smoke weed, go smoke weed somewhere else. My wife and I don't do that. It helps that THC helps with my nausea, with all my issues I have from liver failure. But I still don't use weed like that. I don't. And I live in a state where it's legal. No medical card, no excuses. Just facts. You need to be better than what you are as a parent. That's what's going to fix this world. These kids need to be able to take this world on headstrong and be able to think and be smart about how they act. Because every move that they make is going to matter, and our future depends on our children. We cannot be like the parents of the past that have let these fucking kids just come in and have all these opinions and all these feelings and all these different things that don't actually exist, not based in facts nor based in reality. They're sitting there probably calling their parents, I don't know why my lights are turned off. Well, did you pay your fucking power bill? No? Oh, well, you got to pay your power bill, kid. Why? Because they were in your basement too long. That's the parents that screwed that up. We can't have all these people operating in their own fantasy, in their own little world. We live in a structured environment. In an environment and in a country, I'm not saying it's perfect, but that was designed on Christian morals and values that were a golden compass, a moral compass of right and wrong. And those things kept us safe. Just guardrails. They were just guardrails, bumpers. Like when you go bowling and you put the bumpers up for the kids, you got to put the bumpers in so that they still hit, because they're not good enough yet. But eventually they practice enough, you take the bumpers down and they're knocking strikes in life. And that's what you have to set your kids up for, is to bowl strikes every single time, or this world's going to chew them up and spit them out. And if they don't have the strength from their knowledge, their wisdom from their heart, in a relationship with their creator, they're not going to have the strength to make it. This world is evil and satanic and ready to chew them up and spit them out. And if you want them to be the next meal, then serve them up on the golden platter for it. I'm not doing it. And I'm going to speak out against it. So do better, be better, and make better. Make better decisions and prove to your kids. And as our pastor, Patrick, says, it's not what's caught. It's not what is taught. It's what's caught. It's what they see you do, not what you tell them to do. Know that. Know that. My kids see how I act and how I maneuver every single day. More than what I say. My daughter and my son, but all four of them, are perfect examples of that. Because they see me far more than they hear me. You can fill them full of all the bullshit you want, but they see the truth. Show them how to be the right kind of person. Teach them how to be a kind, loving, accepting person. Someone that allows other people to feel the way they need to feel as far as caring about their feelings, not to be hurtful, hateful, and mean. Don't let somebody be lonely. Don't let somebody feel like they're alone and a loser in this world and they don't have anybody. Make sure you're that one person for them. Teach them to do random acts of kindness, whether that's opening a door, carrying a grocery bag, or maybe buying something for somebody. You know, groceries, tipping well, all kinds of things. There's so many random acts of kindness that you can commit that don't cost anything. Then there's other ones that cost stuff and they can change people's worlds. If you have the money and the waitress serves you right, maybe give her the opportunity to choose the tip. Just take the chance. 99% of the time, they're not going to put a $9,000 tip down. They're probably going to go for 20% because they don't know what to do at that moment. And that's where you say, you know what? I'll do you better. Next time, put 40%. Double it. Double down on your youth and double down on you as a parent, because you cannot continue to make these bad decisions of delinquencying a minor. It's illegal. And trust me this, and this is my shot across the bow. If I ever hear of a child being allowed to use a substance before their age of legal use, somebody will know. Whether that's the entire internet or the legal authorities. I mean, that might be both in one, right? I could tell the whole internet you're a POS, and the authorities can see it at the same time. Let's just see. We should hold people more accountable, and that includes me. If you know me and I do the wrong thing, approach me right about it and say, hey, Cody, you hurt my feelings, or you said this, or you did this, and that, I didn't appreciate it. Cool. I bet you I'm receptive. I guarantee I am. Because I don't live this life to hurt people. I really don't. And coming from somebody that's terminally ill, faces their morality every single day, unlike most people on this planet, I have to make every day with my children matter. Because I don't know when tomorrow isn't going to come. It's heartbreaking, terrifying, scary, bewildering. Sometimes I get lost in the chaos of life and I'm just like, what am I going to do? What happens if I'm not here? There's nothing I can do to help my wife. There's no comfort I can give her when she's having a bad day, when the kids are stressing her out, when they're stressed out, when my daughter gets her feelings hurt, and I'm not here to hold her hand. I'm not here to give her a hug. I'm not here to tell her it's okay and it will be okay, because Dad says it's going to be okay and he'll make it okay. You have to quit being the idiot, quit being the leech, quit being the suck on society. You need to start putting into your children. If you're going to procreate and have children, there needs to be more accountability for what they turn out like, okay? They need to be good humans. You need to work on making them a great human, a better human than you were. Think about that. If there was a world that existed 20 years from now, where every one of our kids did life that much better than us, wouldn't this world be a lot better place? It's gotten pretty shitty. I don't like it. I don't want to raise my kids here, so I'm raising them to be the difference. To be strong, vocal leaders. To be loving, kind, and strong leaders. To be perceptive, to listen, but to also voice their opinion. To voice truth. To voice the foundation of life, which is Jesus Christ, the Son of the only God, our Lord. He created everything, the heavens, the seas, the earth, the skies, the clouds, the stars, the animals, the peoples, the thoughts, the cars, everything there is, he created. He's omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. If you don't know what those omnis are, not my problem. Go figure it out. 3 things that you can't be is being omnipresent, potent, and essent. You're all seeing, all being, and always there. Or all seeing, all knowing, and all being. However you word it. I know what they are. But you have to be the difference. You have to be a better parent. You have to raise a better kid. And when they make those giant mistakes, it is absolutely on you. When they're under the age of 18, it is probably your fault they made that bad choice. That they didn't know to be respectful of boundaries, to not steal, to what the consequences were, because you weren't punishing them, you weren't holding them accountable, and you weren't laying down the right rules. Quit being their best fucking friend and be the best consistent parent you can be. Every time I just explained this to my daughter. I said, I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm here to be the best dad I can. And that means that sometimes I'm going to hurt your feelings. I'm going to make you feel unheard. I'm going to make you feel like I'm taking everything away and, whoa, the world is crashing. But wait a minute. I bet you 20 years from now, you're going to be like, Dad, you were pretty on point, Dad. Because as wrong as my dad may have been a million times, my mom not so much, but my dad, both of them, I've had to thank for being so damn right for so long and me not listening. Like I said, it's time to get your head out. It's what is caught, not what is taught. So start being the example. Start showing the example. Start leading by example and holding your kids accountable before it's too late and the law does. And if you can't give them healthy choices and you want to ruin their lives, you deserve to be in prison. God bless.